Hey guys, so today I'm filming my March favorites for 2016. I know this video is extremely late and I am so sorry for that. A lot of life things have been getting in the way of filming recently and I'm just trying to get caught back up so I can be on schedule again. So thank you all for your patience. I really appreciate it and how understanding you all are. So if you guys saw my February favorites from 2016, I'll have that video linked up here. You know I had a bunch of favorites, but after I posted that video, I realized I forgot a couple things that I wanted to talk to you all about. So I'm going to mention those first and then I'll get into my March favorites. My first forgotten February favorite is the Pure Cosmetics foundation sponge. So I had gotten this with the Pure Cosmetics Cameo contour stick, and honestly when I got it, it was kind of hard as a rock because I hadn't wet it and I was like, okay, what am I gonna do with this? Why would I use this to cream contour? And I set it aside. Then I was watching a video from Michelle of Ready Set Glamour and she used it to apply her foundation. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I have beauty sponges. I know you use them for foundation, but anyway, I'm so glad I watched that video because then I started using this for foundation and I loved it. So this sponge is awesome because the butt is like the Beauty Blender and the top has that point like the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. This is like the best of both worlds for me. So I use the bottom for foundation, I use the angled side to blend out the concealer under my eyes, and then I use the back side of this to set my concealer. I freaking love this, and I was afraid that this was only available in that Cameo contour stick, but I looked on their website and you can buy this individually for $12, which is a pretty darn good price. I'm definitely going to need to buy more of these. This is so fan-freaking-tastic. It is so soft when you get it wet. It blends out your foundation and concealer perfectly. I highly recommend this. This is an awesome sponge. My next favorite is the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. I cannot believe I forgot to mention this. So if you guys did not see, last month I did do a palette of the month video on this palette. I'll have that video linked up here. I showed you 4 looks I created with this palette and I gave you my overall thoughts. I swatched all the colors, all that jazz. I am so glad that I chose to use this palette for my palette of the month for February because I've fallen in love with this. I'll show you my favorite shades. I use Strange as a brow bone highlight, Limit as a transition color, Crease as a nooner. I have 3 favorite lid shades. That would be Trick, Liar, and Mugshot. So the fact that I am in love with 50% of the shades in this palette is awesome for me because with those shades, I am able to get 3 complete looks that I absolutely love. This has now become one of my favorite palettes in my collection. I also have recently posted a palette collection and overview. I'll link it up here if you'd like to check it out, but I highly recommend pulling back out your Naked 3 palette if you own it. I know a lot of people weren't impressed by this, but I'm in love. This is my favorite Naked palette. And my last 2 forgotten February favorites were some liquid lipsticks. The first one is the Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in the shade Lovesick. This is the only Kat Von D liquid lipstick that I have. It is super opaque and pigmented. It does dry down completely matte. It is almost that powdery finish. I do quite like it that it's so matte. It definitely is a little bit drying, but I wore this when I went to try on wedding dresses and I fell in love. I honestly think that I'm going to wear this lip color on my wedding day. I loved it so much. Was really impressed with the color and the formula. So right here is a swatch of the Kat Von D liquid lipstick in Lovesick. Is the ColourPop Ultra Matte Lip in the shade Lumiere 2. I had worn this lip color with my Urban Decay Naked 3 palette in my foundation collection and overview video. I'll link that up here so you can see how it looked on me. This color shows up way more purpley on me than it does on a lot of other people. I know on a lot of people it looks pink. Regardless, I still think that this is an absolutely stunning color. This is the new Ultra Matte formula, which you guys know I prefer the OG formula, but I do still enjoy this and this color is so stunning. Definitely one of my favorite Ultra Matte lips. And this is a swatch of ColourPop's Lumiere 2. You can definitely tell it looks a lot deeper in the swatch than it does in the packaging. So now moving on to my March beauty favorites. I actually don't have too many things, but I have quite a few eyeshadows, which I feel like is the one thing I usually don't have very many of in my videos. So my first 2 March favorites are bronzers. You guys know I mention in basically every single seasonal makeup must-haves that I have quite a few bronzers, contours, and highlighters in my collection. So I like to designate a specific pick one for each season so they all get some love. So this year I have changed what bronzers and contours I use for each season, and I have started using these two in the springtime, and I fell in love with them. These are the two Milani Matte Baked Bronzers. These were limited edition. I'm so sorry about that. I was able to find these on eBay. If they're still available, I'll have a link for them down below for you guys. These are amazing, amazing, amazing. I love the quality of them. Now, Milani is famous for bringing back limited edition items. Sometimes they take way too long in my opinion, so I still have my fingers crossed that they will bring these back and make them permanent, but hopefully I can find them online for you guys. So the first shade I have is Sunset. As you can tell, this is more of a warm tone color, and this is the lightest shade of the two, and I use this one to bronze all over. And the second shade I have is Sunset. This is the deeper of the two. It is also very warm tone, and I use this to contour. Even though these are warm tone bronzers, I still really love them to bronze and contour. I know you're supposed to only use cool tone bronzers for contouring, but I have no problem with this one. I think it actually looks very, very beautiful. I'm so glad that I decided to use these in spring because it made me fall in love with them. The formula is amazing. It is very pigmented, but super blendable and smooth. Not chalky, not too creamy, just the perfect consistency, and I love these colors. My next favorite is a look I created with the Balm in the Balm of Your Hand palette. I will have my palette of the month video coming very soon on this one, and I am going to have a tutorial on this look coming up soon as well because I just really fell in love with it. So the colors I used from this palette was Mischievous Marissa on my lid, and I used Lead Zepplin on my lower lash line. And then in my crease, I used MAC Brown Script, and as a transition color, I used MAC Soft Brown. If you guys do not know, MAC Pan Shadows used to be $10, and recently MAC lowered the price to $6. So if you have been wanting to try some MAC shadows, highly recommend you go buy them now because $6 for a MAC shadow is really fantastic. I'm so happy that MAC lowered their prices because now they're on the same level playing field with their competitors. This Mischievous Marissa shade is so stunning. The most beautiful rose gold. I absolutely love it. It is such a creamy formula. So I wore that look in my Finish 7 by Spring finale and my Finish 6 by Summer intro. I'll have one of those videos linked down below so you can see how the makeup actually looked on me, but honestly, I fell in love so hardcore with that makeup look. I cannot wait to do a tutorial on it. So here's a swatch of Mischievous Marissa, and this is a swatch of Lead Zepplin. So if you guys watch my monthly makeup basket or my spring makeup must-haves, you know that for my shadows for spring, I have chosen 2 different neutral go-to looks, and then I also have 3 brands of colorful shadows that I want to choose one brand for each of the 3 months of spring to focus on. This month, I use my ColourPop Bright Shadows. I actually really enjoyed using these. As you guys know, I was not sure how to wear them, but I really fell in love. So the first shade I have is in a Pickle, which is a matte finish, and I have been using this very lightly buffed out as a transition color. It was so beautiful. Obviously, I didn't wear it with every look, but it was so gorgeous as a transition shade. Next, I have the shade Snapdragon. I had been rocking this on my lower lash line. I had been setting my Zulu ColourPop liner with this shade to make it even more intense and long lasting. I will link a video down below of me wearing this so you can see how it looks. And lastly, I have this matte purple in the shade Daddy. Again, I had been wearing this on my lower lash line. I had set a Clinique liner with this shadow. Again, down below I will have a link to me wearing this so you can see what it looks like on. So here's a swatch of ColourPop in a Pickle, Snapdragon, and Daddy. So there was one makeup look I absolutely fell in love with. I was wearing that Snapdragon on my lower lash line. On my lips, I was wearing the ColourPop Ultra Matte Lip in Seesaw, and I fell in love with this shadow that I use. So this is Makeup Geek Desert Sands. I have had this shadow for a little while, and I hadn't used it yet because I was very intimidated by this mustard color, and I had no idea what to do with it. I actually had a comment from one of my lovely friends, Emily, asking me if I was wearing it in a certain video, and I actually wasn't, but it inspired me to wear it with this look. So what I did was take a really big fluffy brush and I blew it out in my crease and transition area. It looked so good. So freaking good. I loved it. So please let me know what ways you wear this shadow and what other colors you combine with this. But thank you so much, Emily, for leaving that comment because it inspired me to give it a try and I fell in love. Here's a swatch of Makeup Geek Desert Sands. My next favorite is a nail polish. This is the Sally Hansen Extreme Wear nail polish in the shade Lacey Lilac. This has been a holy grail polish of mine for years. This looks even prettier on the nail than it does in the bottle. This is opaque in 2 coats, the most stunning lilac ever. This has a fantastic formula for being a pastel polish and it's super duper inexpensive. And lastly, for beauty favorites, I have one skincare product. I know I never mentioned skincare. This is the Mario Badescu Acne Facial Cleanser. So Mario Badescu is a skincare line that is sold at Ulta and is actually relatively inexpensive. I think that this face wash for this size was $15, which I think is very reasonable price. Now this is a very simple, easy cleanser, but that's why I love it. I can use this in the sink and I don't have any problem rinsing it off. Some cleansers that are so thick, I feel like I really have to work to get them off my skin or get off any residue. This makes my skin feel so refreshed. It is amazing. I love using this in the morning because I like to do a more intense cleanse at night. But when I wake up in the morning, I do still have a layer of oil I want to get rid of. This is a fantastic, very simple cleanser. Highly recommend this. So those are all for my beauty favorites. Now on to my random favorites. I have 4 songs, and if the music videos are available, I'll have them linked in the description box. The first song is Work From Home by Fifth Harmony. That song is so catchy, like how can you not love it? Also No by Megan Trainor. That song's awesome. So the first time I heard it, I did not think it was Megan at all. It didn't sound like her voice, but when I figured out it was her, I can kind of see it, but that song is just absolutely fantastic. Also, Down in the DM. That song has been around forever, but I just keep forgetting to mention it in a favorites, and whenever it comes on the radio, it's just so catchy. You can't help but love it. And the last song is Piece by Piece by Kelly Clarkson. So I had heard that she had performed this song at American Idol and everyone just bawled their eyes out. I did not watch the performance. I had not yet heard the song. So it just randomly came on the radio and I was listening to the words and I just was like driving and crying. So I absolutely love that song. It is a song where you need to listen to the message. The lyrics are fantastic. I really recommend you guys listen to that song if you haven't heard it yet. So guys, those are my March and some February favorites. Please let me know yours in a comment down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.